the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Wednesday morning. We are glad that you joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. I'm Brett Pritchard. I am flying solo this morning. And again, we've got SEC Media Days in Birmingham this morning. So we will be up there at that. So we'll have some stuff coming from Birmingham as Stephen Pearl and the Auburn Tigers will be up this morning around 9:05. So we'll hear from Stephen Pearl for the first time as the head basketball coach at Auburn University at Media Days. And we've obviously already heard from him with his press conference at Auburn, but hear from him as the head basketball coach for Auburn at SEC Media Day. So looking forward to that, see kind of how that's going to break down and how that's going to go this morning. We'll have some more on that. But obviously, big football game again coming up on Saturday. I don't know how big it is. It's the next one up. It's Missouri. They're 5-1. They're a good football team. They lost narrowly at home to Alabama this past Saturday. Prebula, the quarterback, made a few bad throws, and Ty Simpson made a few good throws. He made more than a few, made some really good throws, and especially one on fourth down to help Alabama get that win on the road against Missouri by 3 points. And so another big challenge coming up for Auburn on Saturday night in Jordan-Hare Stadium. I know we talked a lot the last couple of days about the Georgia game. We'll talk some more about that and kind of how that looked and what could have happened there. Obviously, a lot of rumors swirling right now. Yesterday or day before yesterday, the news of Damari Alston not being part of the team any longer, kind of still sending shockwaves through the team. We were at practice yesterday and talked to several of the players. And so they all had positive things to say about Damari Alston, what a team player he was. Obviously, that's the case. He was a team captain. They voted him as a team captain. And so kind of out of the blue, a guy that got off to a really good start this season against Baylor running the football. And he made that famous quote walking out of the press conference. We were standing in there when he did it. You can go back and look at the clip on our Instagram page, but say there's three things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and Auburn is going to run the football. And just the mood of that after that game was so good, and the team was in great spirits after going on the road and beating a pretty good Baylor team and running the football the way they did. It kind of felt like Hugh Freeze and this offense was going to do what it took to win football games this year and didn't care what it looked like, and got off to a 3-0 start. And then now they're on a 3-game losing streak, losing to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and then this past Saturday against Georgia. So 0-3 in SEC play. Kind of went through and looked at Hugh Freeze's record since he's been at Auburn. It's not good. There's no way to spin it. Nothing positive to say. I mean, in a place that used to be really tough to play at Jordan-Hare Stadium, Hugh Freeze is 9-9 as the head football coach. So obviously not a very daunting place for people to come in and play any longer. The lore of that's kind of been lost. And how are you going to gain that back? How is Auburn going to get back to a team where people are, again, going into Jordan-Hare going, well, it's going to be really hard to go into that place and get a win. I don't think Missouri feels that way at all. Eli Drinkwitz has done a really good job at Missouri. I think it kind of gets undersold how great of a job Eli Drinkwitz has done at Missouri. If you look on paper at all the SEC teams, you would say Missouri would be one of the toughest places to win, and he's been opposite of that. He goes up to Missouri and has turned that program into nothing but a winner. And again, had Alabama right there on the ropes in a big time game at home. They're expanding their stadium. So they're trying to get up to speed with facilities and all to kind of fit into this SEC. But still, when you look at it from resources and roster and location of where Missouri is, you would definitely go, that's probably a program that's always going to struggle to be successful in this conference. But Eli Drinkwitz says, hold my beer. Has Missouri at number 16 in the country, had a great season. I mean, he's just put together one really good season after another at Missouri, and he's got them sitting there, with a really good record again this year. If you look at their schedule, Auburn, obviously this coming up Saturday night. We'll talk a little bit more about that matchup here in just a minute. They have actually shifted the point spread to Missouri. I think it opened up at 2.5 Auburn. Now it's 1.5 Missouri, and I'm not shocked by that. I was shocked to see that Auburn was favored with the opening line, but the money obviously going to Missouri. But again, I think it will be a close football game. We'll talk more about it here in a little bit. Then Missouri goes to Vanderbilt. That could be a really, really interesting game. Vanderbilt's 5-1 right now, and they've got a big game coming up on Saturday. And but talking about Missouri's schedule, they got Texas A&M at home, and then Mississippi State, then on the road at Oklahoma, and then Arkansas. I mean, all winnable games for Missouri. I mean, they lost to Alabama 27-24. They knocked off South Carolina 29-20. They're 1-1 in SEC play, but this is not a daunting schedule. Texas A&M, by far the best team left on this schedule that Missouri will play, and they got that game at home. So it's sitting there in really good shape to position themselves for a playoff berth if they're able to do things the way they've been doing them. And again, coming into Auburn, they don't feel like they don't feel like that's a place that they can't come in and get a big win. So we'll talk some more about that. But again, going back to this last couple of days, the future of Hugh Freeze. I kind of titled the podcast this morning, "What Could Happen Next?" I don't know what could happen next. Nobody knows what could happen next. At practice yesterday, it seemed like the team was in pretty good spirits. We talked to several players, Rayshawn Pleasant, Jackson Arnold, several other guys. You can go and check that out on our Instagram. We got some reels out there, and a lot of you've already seen those. But, it's the same deal, going to work and trying to figure out a way to get over the hump and win a football game. But it really kind of just boils down to offense. It boils down to Auburn has not been able to score points, and Auburn has not been able to do the things that they need to do in crunch time to win football games. I had somebody text me last night and go, the crazy thing about the last couple of years for Auburn is they've been in all these football games, but they always find a way to lose the game or not win it. And Coach Freeze talked about that in the post-game presser. He discussed it right out of the gate, opening statement. He goes, one thing we do around here is we find ways to not win football games, and we got to turn that around. And, but it just kind of becomes monotonous, the same talk every single week with no results, nothing changing. I mean, you go back and you look at the last 3 games in SEC play. Auburn's off to an 0-3 start in SEC play, and it's all because it can't score. Defense doing what it did last year, giving Auburn a chance in every game. But when you're scoring 10, 17, those point totals, and we went through and looked at the history of the Georgia rivalry over the last 20 years, it's because Auburn can't score. And Auburn has gone out the last 3 times they've hired a coach and gotten an offensive-minded coach. Either a coordinator or been a head coach with an offensive mind, and it hadn't translated into much success. I know Gus Malzahn had his success. We've gone through that whole thing. It was sporadic. He had, 2013, 2014 was a good year. Then 15 and 16, kind of fell off, got on a hot seat. You go out and get Jarrett Stidham in 17. Auburn goes to the SEC championship game, wins a lot of really good big games, has a good season. He gets a contract extension after being on the hot seat, and I solely put all of the credit on Jarrett Stidham's back, because if Gus Malzahn doesn't go out and get Jarrett Stidham, he gets fired that year, because there's no doubt that Jarrett Stidham was the difference in that team. And him winning. So he gets that contract, come back 18, a little bit of disappointment, a decent season, then 19 and 20, much more of the same, and Auburn decides to part ways. Now, if we all knew what was coming, you'd have kept him. You'd have kept Gus Malzahn, because then really the deterioration of this program started after the 2020 season. And again, Brian Harsin was a disaster. But Hugh Freeze has been there long enough, and he's built this roster up to where you shouldn't be seeing the results. I mean, we talked about this all summer after spring was over, and how this roster was built by this coaching staff, and it was ready to compete with anybody in this conference. And they showed that Saturday night they can compete with anybody. The problem is they can't get over the hump. But we talked about it all summer long, and this roster and this schedule should have set up for Auburn to win 8 or 9 football games, and now you're wondering if they can even get to 500. And that's a serious statement. I mean, when you look down the schedule, Missouri, Arkansas on the road, which looks different now. You saw what they did against Tennessee. Thought they had a really good performance on the road against Tennessee, and weren't able to pull it off, but lost by 3. But now that they've got Bobby Petrino at the helm, it feels different. Feels like a rejuvenated Arkansas team. So Auburn's got to go on the road and play that team. And then you got Kentucky, who is bad. There's no other way to spin it. That they're just a bad football team. And again, Mark Stoops could be a guy that obviously has done really well based on Kentucky football standards, but even Kentucky fans are getting a little exhausted and frustrated with the results, and they're 2-3 right now. And if they were to somehow come in and knock Auburn off, man, that might be the low of lows. But that's a bad football team. You should win. And then you got to go to Nashville and take on one of the hottest teams in the country. And again, got to see Diego Pavia again. And then you got Mercer, and then you got Alabama. So you tell me, Auburn sitting here at 3-3 with those 6 games left. Where are your for sure wins? Maybe Mercer and Kentucky. That gets you to 5. And then you got Arkansas, Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Alabama. I mean, on any other given year, you would feel like, man, that is great. You take that schedule every single year. Not this year, not the way this team's playing, not with the adversity they're facing, not with the results of SEC play to this point, going 0-3. Now all of a sudden you're trying to figure out how you're going to get to 6 wins. This is an unending cycle that Auburn is in football. With the last 4 years, now going into this 5th year, staring down the barrel of another losing season. Can you even get to bowl eligibility? I mean, this thing has sunk to a new low. And really, at what point in time are you going to cut bait? And I think that's kind of the storyline behind all of this. 6:45 Saturday night. If Auburn were to lose that game, will we see a change that night, a decision be made, or maybe the next day? We have already seen so many coaches get fired because of the urgency of trying to get the next person in place, because of the rules in college football with the portal window that's open in December now only. There's not another portal window. So if you know that you're going to cut bait, you're going to go in another direction. If it ain't working out, and it hadn't worked out under Hugh Freeze to this point, what do you do with that result going into the last 5 games of the season if Auburn were to lose on Saturday? That's the question. All right, let's talk about some of our partners here on the program. Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama. They save you thousands of dollars on new installations. They save you a lot of money on your power bill, because when you install one of these new carrier units, they're so much more efficient. They're going to save you money on your power bill. So you need to call Sensagreen today. They will come in and install a new carrier unit. They are proud supporters of the Auburn Blitz podcast and Auburn athletics. Our good friends at Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama. Just talked to Jay and Sloan last night, and man, they are really doing well, and they have tons of projects going on, and they can help you with your next project. Check them out in Birmingham, Alabama. They'll take you from the pre-construction phase to the finished product. Proud to have Scout Program Management as part of our team here on the Auburn Blitz. And Bunkers, our good friends over there, KJ, Wes, Allen, man, talk about a happening place. They've renovated, changed things up. They've added more seating for you. They've got 2 great bars now. They still have the golf simulator bays for you to go in there with your buddies and play some simulated golf and some other sports. They got a stage there now for live entertainment. That's been really great. And they got 50 parking spots for you in downtown Auburn. So you don't have to worry about walking way down the street or wherever and finding a parking place. You just pull into the parking deck and walk right into Bunkers and have a good time. So check out Bunkers on Glen in downtown Auburn. If you haven't done it, I don't know what you're waiting on. It's just great, great place, a cool place to go hang out in downtown Auburn. All right, some positive news yesterday, really kind of out of the blue. You would think a guy that's committed to Georgia after Georgia just beat Auburn would probably stay committed to Georgia. Well, that didn't happen with Shadarius Tootle, and you know exactly who we're talking about. Shadarius Tootle, a 4-star linebacker from Cottage Hill in South Alabama in the Mobile area, was committed to Auburn for a long time, and then flipped back in June to Georgia, has now flipped back to Auburn. Very odd timing. Again, DJ Durkin, though, continuing to do great things over on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, if you look at it, if you're Shadarius Tootle or anybody out there as a defensive recruit, you're pleased with what you see. I mean, Auburn's defense gets coached up. They shut teams down. Looks like player development is great. Why wouldn't you want to play for DJ Durkin? Now, the total results of Auburn aren't good. But, again, the relationship DJ Durkin had, again, he flips back to Auburn. It's crazy. It's wild to see. And, again, some of our friends at 24/7 caught up with Shadarius Tootle, and this is some quotes from him. He said, I feel like Coach Freeze is doing the best he can. The team looks different from last year. They look way better. They look like a different team. They just have to get a step quicker. Hard to argue with that. But, again, Shadarius Tootle, a big-time in-state linebacker that had been committed to Auburn for a long time, flipped to Georgia in June, and then now is back with Auburn Tigers. But, again, I take recruiting right now with a grain of salt. Great to get a big commitment. Great to add him to the class of 26. But here's the deal. All we talked about in the offseason was this roster. And Auburn had built a roster up that's ready to compete. And it is competing, but it ain't winning. It's not getting over the hump. And, not to beat a dead horse, but it goes back to quarterback play. It goes back to offensive numbers. And frankly, it just feels like Hugh Freeze once again got it wrong when he went into the portal and picked the quarterback. I mean, hate to be negative, but just calling it like I see it, like a lot of you see it. When you look at Jackson Arnold, his numbers, when you look at it, 983 yards passing, 106 of 165 with 5 touchdowns, no picks, but just one vanilla stat line after another, not doing anything to really go out and win a football game. And when you have plays to make, you just seem to be a little bit off. The throw against Oklahoma to Cam Coleman, wide open, walk-in touchdown, you overthrow him. Saturday night against Georgia, Eric Singleton gets behind the defense. I know you got a guy that's beating down on you and is about to dive into your legs, but Eric Singleton, how do you overthrow that guy? You just put the ball up and let him run under it, and your defense had just held Georgia. They missed a field goal. It stayed 13 to 10, and there's that play to take the lead back, and you miss. I mean, Auburn just cannot make the play when it's there. They can't orchestrate the drive to win a game. They've had 3 opportunities in SEC play to finish games, and they can't do it. And it starts with Jackson Arnold. Yeah, I know the offensive line's got part of that responsibility, and I know some of the play calling is questionable as well. But there have been plays that could have been made in all 3 of those losses by Jackson Arnold, and he wasn't able to make the play when the time came. And again, I thought when you look back at the Oklahoma game, the coaching staff really dialed up some big plays that Auburn missed on, and they just flat missed from the execution standpoint. Now, the Texas A&M game, that game should have been a blowout for Texas A&M, and somehow you look up and Auburn still had a chance to win it. Had the ball twice in 4 minutes and couldn't get a first down to move the ball down the field to score a touchdown. And then, of course, we all know what happened against Georgia. But when you look at these numbers, I mean, Jeremiah Cobb now with Damari Alston being gone, going to be the main back. You're going to see a little bit more out of Omar Mapson. I will say this: at practice yesterday, did see Darrell Robinson back stretching and doing some running. How far away is he from being back to where he can actually play? I don't know that. I think Coach Freeze said maybe a couple of more weeks and they would look at it, but he's trying to get back to where he can play from that compartmental syndrome that he had in his leg. That was just a weird injury. But now without Damari Alston, Jeremiah Cobb, who had emerged as the premier back, will continue in that role, it seems like. But you're down, obviously, the guy coming into the season that you thought was going to be the leading rusher for your team, and now he's no longer on the team. So the bottom line is you have got to get better execution and better play out of your quarterback. And I'm just not sure at this point that's going to happen with Jackson Arnold. I mean, we seem like we come on here and we say the same thing over and over. And I think he's a gritty kid. I do. I mean, hate to take shots, but you know, at some point in time, you got to decide if you want to continue to see the same thing happen over and over, or if you're going to try something else. And you know, how quick of a trigger does Hugh Freeze have on pulling Jackson Arnold if the offense looks the same way it's looked for the last 3 weeks outside of the first half of Georgia? Do you go ahead and put Ashton Daniels in there after a few drives if it looks the same as we've seen the majority of the time with Jackson Arnold? Why wouldn't you try something different at that point? So that's kind of where it is. You got to figure out if you're going to go ahead and make a change or if you're going to ride with what you got and continue to get the same results, because I think that's what you're going to get. You just have not been able to muster up any type of consistent offense. And the point totals Auburn's put up in SEC play are putrid, and they're not going to beat anybody. with that kind of offensive performance. The frustrating thing is the defense has played well enough to win these games. Basketball on tap. Got SEC Media Days coming up this morning. Again, Faith and I will have some coverage coming out of that. So make sure you tune us in there. Again, Stephen Pearl will be there. It's a different Pearl. Bruce Pearl handing the baton off to his son to take over this program that he built. Let's just be honest, that he built. And Auburn has a basketball game tonight. They take on Oklahoma State in an exhibition game in Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham. I think that game is going to be streamed on YouTube. So you check that out there. We'll be giving you some feedback on that game in the morning. So make sure you tune that in. But again, I know people are excited about basketball season. Excited to see what Stephen Pearl can do with this team. Should be a lot of fun to cover. It's a very talented, very, very talented, high-tempo, offensive style basketball team it looks like Auburn's going to have this year. All right, some more partners here before we get off this morning. Old Number One Customs just finished up the remodel project here in my house of our master bathroom. Phenomenal job. I cannot recommend them enough. Go check them out on Instagram and Facebook. They do tremendous work, just beautiful, beautiful work. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, dining room, an outdoor living space, man, they do some unbelievable outdoor living spaces with outdoor kitchens and fire pits and stuff. You need to check them out. Old Number One Customs, their sister company, JFA Blue Plumbing, 844 JFA Blue, to install the Home Atlas Water Filter Duo system into your home for all purified water. Also, if you're having plumbing issues, obviously they can come and fix all that too. So make sure you call JFA Blue Plumbing, 844 JFA Blue, and they'll take care of all of your plumbing needs. And my good friend Mark Gilliland at Oliver Ross, he has been swamped with sorority and fraternity parties, conventions, private parties. Just handled a party for Bruce Pearl. Just tons going on. If you need a fully trained and licensed bartending staff to come to your party, this is who you need to call. If you need them at your tailgate spot, this is who you need to call. This is who you need to check out. Check out Oliver Ross on Instagram. Really, really nice job that they do. Just was at a wedding where they had the bartending service, and it was phenomenal. So make sure you check them out. They do a phenomenal job there. And Russell Medical Center, that has been on our program now for a few weeks. Glad to have them on. Voted one of the top 3 best hospitals in the state of Alabama. Small town hospital with big city care and all the things that you need for your healthcare needs. Right up 280 if you're coming from Auburn. Check them out. Great doctors, great facilities. Partnered with UAB Medicine. So you know what a great hospital UAB is. They're partnered with Russell Medical, so you need to check out Russell Medical right here on Highway 280 in Alexander City. Well, that's going to wrap it up here for the Auburn Blitz this morning. Again, at noon, it will be Andy and JJ, I believe, coming to you today at noon. And, of course, we'll be back with another episode of the Auburn Blitz podcast in the morning. We're talking about some basketball. Auburn and Oklahoma State, we'll be talking about the results of that, talking about how that game went, talk about media days. We'll have all of that for you in the morning. So, and anything else that might happen between now and then with Auburn athletics. So, again, thanks to all of those of you that have subscribed to our YouTube channel. We appreciate it so very much. If you have not done that, please do that. And a lot of you found us on Instagram the last few days. Our Instagram page is exploding. So we put all the reels out, put all the different content out there as well. Shorts from all our podcasts go there. So go check it out. If you haven't, go out there and follow us on Instagram as well and Facebook, all of the different outlets out there. But make sure you subscribe right here on our YouTube channel. We would appreciate it so very much if you have not done so. And then make sure you hit the like button out there as well. That helps us tremendously. All right. Hope everybody has the best day ever. Go do something good for somebody, and we'll be back with you tomorrow morning for more of the Auburn Blitz.